Senator Chalgi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I want to support two statements. On the issue of security, Senator Eddy should be comfortable because he's seated to one of the members of National Security Committee. I hope you will seize that matter. Even ask or consult me and Senator Ojenda on the peace along the border, where we continue to maintain peace between Nandi County and Kisumu, also Senator Otsotsi, between Nandi and Vihiga, and also between Nandi and Kakamega. So we hear you, and we want to request the people of along Angata Baragoi, where Senator Ledama comes from, to continue to maintain peace. All of us are one Kenya, and I want to encourage the National Security Committee, which will be reconstituted, to find time and go and engage the great people of Angata Baragoi between the Migori and Narok County, and I hope the area senators will be available, because we want one united Kenya where peace thrives in everything, because if there is no peace, there is no development. So, Speaker, secondly, I have seen and I saw in news that there is a rampant rapist in Kajiado County called by the nickname Lolgari. The Speaker, I am bringing amendment to Sexual Offences Act, such that the individual who perpetuate rape should be castrated professionally, Mr. Speaker. We should castrate. Why would we allow somebody to rape? They can procreate DNA that will give birth to rapists. So, Mr. Speaker, we should castrate. And some of us who are pastoralists, like myself, Ledama, and Senator Tobiko, we are experts in castration. We can assist how to castrate those individuals, because what is the solution? Under Sexual Offences Act, what is the solution? You see, these people are taken to court, they are given a bail and bond of 100,000 shillings, and they are being left, Mr. Speaker. The rape causes not only trauma to the individual, it is a lifetime mark, Mr. Speaker. And God forbid you get a child, Mr. Speaker. And this could be young children who are being raped. I am even surprised in this town, and Senator Sifuna should listen to this, that even I'm surprised, even the mentally unstable women are pregnant. Who dares to rape a mentally unstable woman in this city, Mr. Speaker, or across the country? If that person is an animal. Because if they cannot request or who a woman or anyway a girl, Mr. Speaker, then that person is an animal. Because we have reason. You can sit with a girl, take her on a coffee date, and convince her otherwise, Mr. Speaker. So I want to appeal. I'll be bringing number 2, Mr. Speaker, in my proposal.
Are you saying that animals do rape? Animals.
I'm not saying animals do rape, but I'm saying animalistic behavior. You know, when animals are on heat, they just do the needful, Mr. Speaker. I don't want to say much because you have visitors. Another proposal on Sexual Offences Act I want to propose is we must put trackers to these pedophiles and rapists, like the way they do it in Europe and America, Mr. Speaker, so that when a rapist and a pedophile person comes around, there is a signal.
Council wants to inform you, you know, you are senior.
Senior counsel today, the way he's smiling, I can agree.
Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to inform the good senator of Nandi. He's made a very good statement, and we should not tolerate rapists. But Mr. Speaker, I want him to consider advising our young girls to remain pure and not to tell them that if they are approached and lured, then they should have sex before marriage. You should encourage our young girls to remain pure and not to give in to sex advances till they find their spouses. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I agree with Senator Okongo Mugeni. He has spoken like an Adventist elder. And think Sabbath, that is a good sermon for Sabbath. We have called them to be pure. Mr. Speaker, the second proposal is that we need to put trackers to these rapists, the way we have done with pedophiles in America and other countries, so that when they come around schools or come around, it should be tracked. There should be a signal, Mr. Speaker, so that we can prevent these rapist cases. And I want to challenge DCI, if these cases of abductions are happening, and they know, it is hard to look for one person, one rapist that is causing havoc, that has raped 8 women in Kajiado. It is very unfortunate. What DCI, and we give them money. DCI, must be called out, and the police to ensure they track these rapists, Mr. Speaker. We don't want our women and girls to live in fear when they are going to school or they are. Finally, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of doctors, I want to say I brought a statement about the KNH the other day. Now we have this doctor who committed suicide. I think we need to agree. There was a CBA that the government signed with the doctors. We must implement that collective bargaining agreement. Let's give our doctors and nurses and medical practitioners their right, Mr. Speaker. The reason they are committing suicide is because of harsh working environment, Mr. Speaker, where there is no gloves, there is no protection gear, PPEs, Mr. Speaker, there is no good remuneration. I have seen my brother Kebore, the CEO of Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, they have called in strike in some counties. Even I saw my classmate in Kericho calling for strike of doctors because they have not been given fair treatment and fair remuneration, Mr. Speaker. You saw, Mr. Speaker, there was a doctor who worked more than 24 hours in KNH and he died in his sleep a few months ago, Mr. Speaker. People like Dr. Desrin Mora have given all in their life. To be a doctor is not easy, Mr. Speaker, because they say God heals, but the doctor cures, Mr. Speaker. We need to stand with the professionals. Mr. Speaker, finally, I am proposing that the Senate and the Health Committee, and I hope the health members are here, let us form National Health Commission. Because there is crisis in medical sector. You go to Nandi, we have problems. You go to Nairobi, you go to National, Mr. Speaker. You go to Meru. Meru health system has collapsed. Why don't we form National Health Commission to handle human resources of medical practitioners in this country? From dentists, from gynecologists, Mr. Speaker, from psychologists, therapists, Mr. Speaker, all these medical practitioners, and give them a better package, Mr. Speaker. Because with time, if we do not fairly remunerate our doctors, they are emigrating to other countries. We will never have professionals to treat our people. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, we will be emigrating most of our people from here to India. Yet we are losing revenue. What is different that India is doing that we cannot do in Kenya and treat our people, including cancer patients? Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I support all this statement, and I thank you.
Next, Senator Ososi.
Speaker, I would have wished to contribute to the statement by Senator Dulo. I don't know what your position is, because I think the matter raised in that statement are very weighty. If you can allow me to comment on that.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I want to support the statement by Senator Dulo regarding the security situation and the state of governance in Isiolo County. And in the statement, she has made reference to the events during the presidential visit to Isiolo. And in the statement, Mr. Speaker, you can clearly see there was some governance issues related to the planning of that event and the incidences that happened, which were not very good incidences to happen in a presidential event. Mr. Speaker, I want to comment on this because nearly 3 weeks ago, we had a similar incident in my county, Vihiga County, where the presidential visit happened at a place called Luanda. A market was being constructed, and a day before the presidential visit, some people descended on the market stalls, demolished them. They never cared about the plight of the affected traders. And the next day, the president came there to launch the market. Mr. Speaker, it was very nasty because there was too much heckling. They even heckled the governor of Vihiga County and other people, other members of parliament there. I think this is a matter that we need to take seriously because the office of the head of state is an office of honor, is an office that must be respected. And therefore, when we have all this manner of heckling and disorder in a presidential event, then we are clearly making this office to lose the respect it has. And Mr. Speaker, I must dare to say that the security officers were well aware of what was going to happen. They never took any action. There was no protocol in that meeting. There was no protocol in that meeting. So I think this is a matter, the incoming committee of security, where my good friend Ojenda wants to be the chair, must seize this opportunity and investigate all these incidences, not just in Isiolo, even Vihiga County. We have never had a scenario where a president is an event where there is chaos, there is disorder, there is heckling. It never happened under Moi. It never happened under Kibaki. It never happened under Uhuru, but it's happening under William Ruto. It is because, the question is why? The committee must investigate that. They must investigate that and tell us what is happening. In Vihiga County, stalls of poor traders were demolished and they have not been compensated to date. Just because the president is coming the next day to launch a market. They had all the time to plan. They should have planned better. A governor of Vihiga County ended up being heckled because the traders thought it is him who had demolished. But it was demolished by national officials who came a day before. Mr. Speaker, this disorder must stop, and therefore I support.
What is your point? Okay, you are finished.
Mr. Speaker, understanding 105 on accuracy of facts, as the senator also reported in the police about the demolition of the stalls. Mr. Speaker, this is not a marketplace where you just make sweeping statements. We must be held accountable in our statements as leaders. And to allege that the presidential function as synonymous with heckling is not our issue, Mr. Speaker. And it is sad coming from ODM deputy party leader. It is out of order, Mr. Speaker, to come and peddle lies before the House, yet he knows he should go to the police and report.
You know, Vihiga is...
You can see they are even heckling now.
Vihiga County is
And you know, Eddie, you are heckling and we wanted to make you chair roads. Why are you heckling?
Senator Chalagay. Senator Chalagay, Vihiga County is ably represented by Senator Sosi. And what he is saying must be factual. You give us a lot of stories for Nandi. We don't even ask you about Nandi. So let's go to the next, Senator Sifuna.